New York City, what's up, y'all? Y'all been quiet. We got DJ Bless out here, and y'all not even rocking with him? Like, what's up with that? Y'all like the Samsung venue, though? Y'all came to see Kev and Ria and Kev. Look at me mess up my words already. But with no further ado, if you heard of Kokomo, this is the Kokomo experience right here. So it's gonna be some live Q&A. My name is Blue of the Blue Dope Podcast. So check out my podcast and let's bring out Kev and Ria. Y'all gotta give him more love than that. How y'all feeling?
Good. Sorry,
Great.
feel good.
Feeling blessed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Blessed to be here.
But no, we're gonna get right into it today. So firstly, I wanted to know a little bit about both of you, kind of where you're from, nationality-wise, but then also New York City-wise.
We didn't practice this, so I guess I'll go first. So I'm from Brooklyn. I was born and raised there. However, my parents are from Grenada and Trinidad. So I have a lot of Caribbean influence in me because, you know, once you're Caribbean, like from birth, no matter where you're born at, is going to be instilled, the values. So I carry a lot of the Caribbean within me.
Well, for me, I am from a borough called the Bronx. Don't forget the Bronx. I was born in Jamaica. I came up here when I was about 4. And my parents are all over the place, London, Jamaica, Canada. And I grew up with my parents, my mother and father, in Bronx. And I'm what you would call a shatta. Or, you know, I have a very Caribbean background that is very influenced by my parents and my family. So, yeah, there you go.
I mean, I'm a Trini from Brooklyn, and I married a Jamaican from Queens, but so I get the Trini Jamaican connection, but how did you all do Brooklyn Bronx? Because you know that usually doesn't work out.
Yeah, they usually don't like each other, right? Brooklyn and Bronx.
I made it clear I wasn't going. I made it very clear.
You gonna come see me in Brooklyn?
I did ask her that, though. I said, would you come visit me in the Bronx? And she was like, no.
Nah, never.
That's how I ended up moving to Brooklyn.
Shout out to the Yankee hat. We see you. But growing up, what was some of the first, like, Caribbean taste that you could remember? Like, when it comes to spices? Because for me, like, I remember my grandmother making, like, fried bake and, you know, sweet bread and stuff. So what was some of your first memories?
I mean, I think it's gonna be so cliche, but I'm Trini, so I mean, without said is curry. Like, that's like the first. And then I think the one thing that is a staple throughout the whole Caribbean is bacon saltfish.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Original.
For me, I would say ackee and saltfish. Ackee and shellfish, damn, like every Sunday and Saturday morning. And then also oxtail. Yeah. Oxtail on Sundays with some carrot juice, with some Guinness. You know what I mean? That was me every Sunday after church. Oxtail, rice and peas, and carrot juice.
Nice. So how did you both get into the restaurant industry?
So I fell into it. I actually wanted, or not, I didn't want it, but it was never a dream of mine. I went to school for communications and PR, and I could not find a job for the life of me after I graduated. And a restaurant decided to hire me as a marketing manager, and it kind of just came natural. And with one of the promotions I was running was Black guest chef during Black History Month, and that's when him and I met. And he was a Black chef. And when we got married, it just made sense because I knew the marketing of hospitality and he knew the kitchen of hospitality. So it was just like a beautiful merger.
Nice. So he's the chef, but Kev.
Nah, Ria cooks better than me. I'm gonna say that right.
I'm happy he said it.
Ria actually cooks better than a lot of chefs I know. And
Wow.
She just doesn't know how to execute in a big kitchen, but she has a lot of flavor, a lot of ideas. That I think she's just very open with being creative and taking chances. I think that's one of the biggest things with chefs. They don't want to take chances. A lot of chefs stick to the blueprint. Ria is very creative. As myself, I'm very creative as well. I like to change things, reinvent dishes, reinvent your favorite authentic meals in a different way so that it can bring new life.
Who made the first move?
Is that even a question, Blue? Come on.
So let's talk.
I'll actually let him tell the story, though.
So me and Ria met twice.
Okay.
We met unofficially at, if you guys don't know, I used to be a nightlife promoter in New York City, and I was throwing an event at Stage 48, and that's when I first laid eyes on Ria. It wasn't the best introduction to our story. I ended up kicking Ria out of the club. Yeah,
That's
I ended up kicking her out of the club. She was upstairs. I didn't know who she was. We were conducting some business, and somebody told her she can wait in the office, and I told her she had to leave. I think it was raining outside. I kicked outside. She had some luggage.
I was waiting. I actually went to an event, but I had to catch a flight really early in the morning. So I said, I'm gonna take my luggage with me. My friend is throwing a party. I'm sure he'll have somewhere for me to store it. It happened to be the money room. He didn't like that. He did not like that. So he came into the room, very rudely kicked me out, and there I was, rolling my carry-on through Stage 48 to go wait outside
Club too.
in the rain from my Uber. So how did we get married? I don't know.
And this was in November, so it definitely was cold. And I felt bad. My boy Hassan's not here, but he was there. And he was like, oh, she was kind of cute. And I was like, you know what, bro? She was. Damn. And I never thought I'd see her again. And then we bumped heads again February, right, for Black History Month, when you guys were honoring guest chefs at Suede. I was a part of a group of roving chefs called Omar's Kitchen. Shout out to Omar's Kitchen for everything I learned from working with those guys. Those are my family for life. And Ria hired us as guest chefs to come to Suede to create this menu for Black History Month. And when I laid eyes on her, actually one of my boys said, go upstairs and check out the marketing manager. And when I saw her, I knew that was it.
Couldn't stop sweating me.
Yeah.
But you was digging him too after that.
She was. She here.
Yeah,
that's
it.
She here.
So now I'm gonna speed up a little bit. You guys get married. The restaurant becomes an idea and a thought. How did you even raise capital to open a restaurant?
So that was a tough one. And I honestly think the restaurant became what it became because we didn't raise capital the way you're supposed to. Mm-hmm. They say when you start a business, never to use your own money. But sometimes you have no choice. So we had to literally put together all we had, but then ask our family to give us their savings too, because we had a dream that we
said savings.
Savings, yeah. We had a dream that we knew. Well, actually, we didn't know. We were just placing our bet like everybody else, hoping that it would work. And when COVID hit, that's a whole nother story. Yeah. But we made it work. So to answer your question, it was strictly our own money, our family's money, no banks, no investments, nothing.
And I think you got married pretty quickly after you met, so it was definitely even a learning process jumping into the business side. But Kev, what did you learn about Ria specifically in opening this business with her?
I mean, relationships are journeys just to begin with, as you guys may know, whether you boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, relationships with your mother and your father, just family, period. What I learned and what I take away from it is that I didn't know it was going to be that much of a struggle for us to understand each other. There's a journey within that journey of finding each other and finding balance and understanding your strengths and your weaknesses in your spouse so that you can, instead of fighting each other, because at first it was a tug of war and let's point fingers. But then when we came to this common space of we're here as a team, let's just help and support each other. These are your weaknesses. I'll step in right here. These are your strengths. She'll jump in right here. We just started working together, and with the picture and the direction and everything that we were trying to achieve, that started to come together and everything started to fall into place once we saw that we were on the same team. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that you're on the same team with your spouse. There doesn't need to be a fight. It's just understanding the other person. So that's what it is.
But I would add to that, because he made it sound very easy, and it absolutely was not. It came to a head where I told him, something has to change or else I'm gonna let all of this go.
Wow.
I remember that day.
I'm sure you do.
I want to ask though, because some people have that fear of going into business with a spouse, right? Even worse yet, someone you're dating, because what if that goes, the wrong way? Is the business over? So how do you even deal with that thought process and being in that moment where everything could have gotten let go?
Well, when we had that conversation, the last thing I thought about was the business. I thought about my kids, family, and what we were trying to achieve as a family. Excuse these. Ooh, man.
We're both crybabies, just so y'all know.
But I'm good though. I'm good. Yeah, I thought about my family first. I always told Ria, if I had to choose between the restaurant and the family, I'm always gonna choose the family. God has given us the opportunity by blessing us with Kokomo being such a successful restaurant opening in COVID, but I would never abandon my family for anything. So when we got to that point of it's either this or nothing, is when we really had to sit and talk and really get back to God. We really had to bring the spirituality back into the relationship, which we were neglecting a lot, because there's times when people say, we're too busy to pray. We're too busy to do this. We're too busy to do that. And I think that there was a moment of weakness in our spirituality that we let things seep into the relationship that separated us. So we got back in touch with God, and God held our hands.
And you just celebrated 5 years?
About to, yes.
Awesome.
Well, we just celebrated it, but the 28th.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Making it through the storms and making it through COVID as well with the restaurant.
Yes.
But going into, I know you just took a recent trip. How do you put your culture of both Caribbean and New York City into your dishes?
I think that came natural to us. And one thing we realized being in New York and seeing the Caribbean culture is that it wasn't evolving, which was very odd, because New York is the place where all things are possible and it's a melting pot. So it's like, why is this the one thing that's not moving forward? We're seeing the Mexicans do it. Their cuisine has exploded. Indians, Italians, so many others. And it's not because of our flavor palette. Our flavor palette is bomb. It's really good. So we figured if we can mix in what we know, which is New York City, and the Caribbean, which is so vast, we can create something that's beautiful. And honestly, I love Kokomo, but I really think that's gonna come to play with Oxtail.
There we go. Give us a little talk about Oxtail. What is Oxtail? How's it different than Kokomo?
Well, Oxtail and Kokomo are different because Oxtail is taking a clean Caribbean concept. Let's think of it that way. Clean Caribbean concept. Cutting out the fat, getting more into the culture of Trinidad, I would say. And I have to point to Miss Karen right there from Trinidad. It's Ria's mother. I want to put her on the spot. Can you wave? Can you say hi? She's helped us with every single thing that we're doing. And I learned a lot about Trinidad from Miss Karen and Ria. But just the spices, the flavor, and the ingredients, their food, and I'm Jamaican, and we cook amazing, but their food touches so much on spices and sauces and adding different ingredients that just bring the protein and the provision to life. Like you can sit there and dip bread through curry sauce and it could be the best moment of your life, just having bread and curry. You know what I'm saying? So the only time I've ever experienced that is with oxtail gravy. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm sure y'all might agree to. But the foundation of oxtail is more tapping into the Trinidadian spices, the sauces, and getting back to a clean Caribbean concept for our people and bringing back the dishes that people love so much in a different way. Bowls, salads, and I'll let Ria talk about the gyroti, which is going to be very popular.
He gave away the surprise. No, but to add on to what he's saying, the reason why we wanted to zone in on Trinidad in particular is because I'm sure other islands have it, But Trinidad has such a mixture of different cultures that you wouldn't believe. Asian, Mediterranean, Indian, Hispanic. It's crazy to see how they've brought so many different cultures to bear on one plate, on one island. So we figured if we went back to there and we brought what they've been mastering for so many years and then add our own little spice to it, but also keeping in mind the fact that health is a big issue in our culture. So trying to trim out a lot of the different things that are causing complications in our community,
There you go.
then we'll have a winner for our people. Because we're not cutting back on the flavor, we're heightening it, if you ask me, but we're making it something that is more pure to the body. It's not vegan, you can still get it, you know.
Yeah.
But
He said no ital food. Now, one thing I want to say is that you got the love of the people at Kokomo, but then even just when it comes to influencers and influential people walking through those doors, how do you even make it so welcoming to them that they keep coming to Kokomo?
well, for me, they're just people, but I'll let Kev answer.
So my superpower in life, my mother always told me, was my ability to connect with people. I love to network, and it's not like networking on a business level. I love to just have conversations with people about anything. I can talk for hours with another person. And when people come to Kokomo, I like to treat them as if they were in my house. I don't treat anybody at Kokomo, or we don't treat anybody at Kokomo as if it's just a customer. Everyone is a guest that we have opened our doors to. Everybody's family. So when people come through the door, it's more of a, we want you here, as opposed to, okay, you came here, how can I help you? How can I sell this car to you? How can, it's not like that. It's more family orientated. It's built on love. The foundation is love. The foundation is our story. The foundation is our family. So we try to make sure that narrative is projected through our staff, always projected to our staff first, because we have to give them love so they can give the love to everybody else. So when people come through the door, they feel that warmth. They feel that hospitality, because at the end of the day, we're not selling food. We're selling hospitality. We're selling an experience. And I think that's what differentiates us from a lot of other restaurants that are out there. We actually care about the people.
Now, within these 5 years, right, you added 3 kids to the mix. So I want to speak about work-life balance, firstly as parents, but then how do you separate home life versus work life when your most important coworker is your spouse?
So that one is
Kev looks stressed already, just thinking about it.
well, yeah, that one is an ongoing battle. Like, no day is the same in terms of how we cope with everything that's thrown at us. But one thing that we've stuck by to is, like, we'll bring our kids to work, but we won't let work come with us when we have our kids.
Got it.
So it's all about the quality time. It's not about the amount of time, because I can be with them and on my phone the whole entire way, and it doesn't mean anything. It's not impactful. So as tired as we are, we try and make sure when we are with them, yes, we're gonna pull our hair out, but we're gonna make sure it's a good time for them. Well, actually, I make him do all the hard work, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's something that you have to find a balance, because you want to raise your kids the right way. You don't want them to ever feel neglected at any point or feel like your work is more important than your children. So we, like Ria said, we try to take them to work. We try to have those moments where we can provide that time for them. It's nonstop though with Kokomo. It's when they say there's literally no days off. We literally have one day off. It's Monday, but it's not our day off because we have meetings on the phone all day. And then Sundays we try to give to the Lord. And we try to give every day to the Lord, but Sundays is the day that we set aside. But then, the restaurant is demanding. It's almost like having another child. So there's been times I remember coming home late and Autumn would be waiting up for me at like 1 o'clock in the morning to watch a movie. because she wanted to watch a movie with me all day. And then I would just watch the movie in the living room with her, and then we'd both fall asleep, and I'd wake up in the couch with her in my arms at 8 in the morning. Like, this is what life is about. This is what fatherhood is about. And it's just to be able to still have those moments with her, and she feels like, she has a dad that loves her, parents that are there for her. So we try to find a balance as best as we can.
So I heard nothing about self-care. I heard nothing about date night. Like, do those things happen for you?
As of recently, yes. For the past 2 years, no.
Got it.
I mean, yeah, we've gone on like date nights here and there, but it was never a ritual for us. But we're seeing the importance of it now more than ever. But I also think it's because we're more seasoned, so we know when we can, when we can't. So we're reaching that space of knowing what really works for us. So, thank God.
There you go.
Yeah.
I need date nights. I gotta have them. I need date nights. I'll call Ria's mom or my mom and say, please, I need tonight. We gotta have it. You gotta have that balance, because it's draining. It's draining. It'll take away from who you are, and I never want to lose myself. Because I start acting like a different person, and Ria can attest to that. I get miserable, and these are the things that she's noticed, that Kev changes if I can't be around my friends, if I can't be around my family, if I can't have the things that I'm used to. So that you have to have that balance.
I recently hit 10 years of marriage. Date night is very important.
Yeah,
so
it is.
date nights, up them. Is date night ever at other restaurants, or do you try to just avoid that?
Only at other restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
If it's at ours, it's not date nights work. Yeah. We've actually tried it.
Yeah, I end up working when we do date nights.
We ate appetizer together, and then it was a solo date for me the rest of the time.
Wow.
So absolutely not.
Wow. Do you have an exit strategy, and would you ever sell in the future? I know we're starting early. You got the 1 and here's 1B, but would you sell in the future?
Absolutely. Okay. Well, mainly because, like what you asked at the beginning, I never wanted to do this. This was something that I was called to do, but I know this is just for the moment, and I'm being set up for other great things that are going to happen in my life. So with him, I feel like you were literally born with like having this persona of wanting to be around people. We're so different. Introvert, extrovert. We're so different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anything that involves people, I will always, that's my heart. You know what I'm saying? Working with people, bringing experiences to people is something that I love, and just watching people enjoy a moment or enjoy anything in life. And the biggest thing for me is to be able to touch people and to motivate others. I like to think of Kokomo as a platform to speak to people, to share our story to people all over the world that need motivation, need inspiration, and want to see a family that's humble and coming from humble beginnings, and what hard work and God can do, right? So, for me, I'm a workaholic. I would never, I don't know if I'll ever retire, to be honest. I would get bored. But,
do you want to sell, he asked.
I mean, Kokomo has my heart, It's, we've talked about selling, when we get to this point of, is the check big enough? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's definitely in the future. I can't see myself just staying with Kokomo. Like Ria said, I definitely want to touch into other things, go other places, and experience other things that impact my life, that help me impact others.
I honestly think when we get to the point of feeling like, okay, the Caribbean culture has truly developed.
Yes.
And we actually kind of started seeing it already. Like, there's been so many Caribbean restaurants that popped up over the last few years. I know with me growing up, I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but we had Footprints, we had Suede, Caribbean Social, The Grill. Are there any others?
The Door.
Door in Queens, yes.
Where else? Sugarcane, that's a big one.
Richie Rich in the Bronx. Where Joke at? Richie Rich?
That don't.
Richie Rich.
No, they count. Let me not do that.
He had to make a Bronx
That's
reference.
a mom and pop. That's a mom and pop.
Got it.
But does anyone have like another one they want to throw in?
Ripe in the Bronx is big. It's actually in New Rochelle. We went there. Ripe is big. Yeah.
But the thing is, we're still under the number of 10.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. A lot of room for growth.
A lot of room for growth. And I love the fact that we've been able to be in the New York Times and Condé Nast and all these different publications that ordinarily Forbes,
yeah.
That's a big one.
that would typically never write about our culture, cuisine.
Yes.
So it's like, we're gonna sell. But once we get to that place where it's like, okay, Caribbean culture is doing their thing, yeah.
Now, we're gonna get into some Q&A, but before we do, the last question I have for you, you mentioned a lot about the people, Kev, philanthropy. Where do you kind of stand with that, and what do you plan to do in the future?
Ria definitely tapping on this too, because as far as philanthropy, excuse me, need some water. I feel like, we all have a job in life. We all have a mission, and I definitely want to be able to help as much people as I can. For me right now, it would be helping children. I hate to see homeless people. I hate to see people that don't have an opportunity to get education and things like that. So for me, it would be helping children to make sure they're on the right path and they have the tools that they need to succeed in life. Luckily for myself, I was able to have those tools, and if I didn't have them, I was able to go get them. You know what I'm saying? And I see so many brown, black, white children around, in New York City that just don't have what they need to succeed, but they have the drive, they have the talent, but they just need help. And I was given help. I was given help the whole way, so I like to make those opportunities that I had possible for other people.
For me, I would actually say, sorry. It would be mentoring Black women in particularly, because we're in an era where the strong Black woman that can do it all by herself is being pushed so hard. And I believe that absolutely we can do it all by ourselves, but it's a matter of why. Because at the end of the day, we're stronger together no matter what. So it's like, why are we entering a space that we think not getting a husband that can have our back wouldn't benefit us? So I get a lot of women reaching out to me and they have all of these questions, and I find myself dealing with the whole, it's hard, I don't know how to, it's a lot. And I always ask them, who do you have helping you? It's hard out here. Why do you want to be outside just So I find myself pushing the fact that we need to build the Black home. We need to put our pride to the side and throw out the list that he has to be 6'5", and that he has to have 6 figures, and truly find the potential, find someone that's gonna have your back, find someone that's gonna propel you forward. Because both him and I honestly didn't have much of anything when we got together. We were living in my mother's basement. Circumstances were extremely, extremely slim. But what we knew is that we had support from each other no matter what we were going to do. And that support that he gave me is what made me go out there and look for a space to start something, anything, so that we can begin to have that generational wealth. And during that process, I realized that there were some times where I wanted to quit. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get out of bed. And he had to take over. He had to take the wheel. What if I didn't have that person? If I didn't have that support system?
I will say real quick too, though, just to add to that, there were so many times that when I was single, I was trying to open doors and opportunities, and I couldn't open those doors. And then me and Ria got married, and then we weren't opening doors; we were opening buildings, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's just a testament of being a unit, and we definitely want to encourage everybody to get that family structure, because you're better together than apart. You need somebody to lean on your low days, through your depression, through your mental health, through the times that you need someone to pick you up. You know what I'm saying? That is what we do for each other. So I definitely want to, encourage people to get that family structure.
That's a word right there. Now, y'all heard of Sierra's prayer? Apparently, that's Ria's prayer, right? I like A$AP Rocky's prayer, too. That's a nice one. But with that said, we're going to go into the Q&A from the audience. Don't be shy, y'all. We got one right here. She's not even hold it back. Ready to go.
Hello.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good. What is one of the hardest obstacles you had after Kokomo was open?
COVID-19.
Besides that, like...
Besides that?
Yeah.
Him. No,
I guess there's no obstacles.
Real.
well, so we got married probably a year before we opened Kokomo, but prior to that, we only knew each other for 8 months. So we were not only figuring out how we were as people, but how we were as spouses, as parents, as business owners, and it got really rough. If you're living with anybody, it can get hard, but now living and working with them, seeing them all the time, having to stop yourself, that for me was my biggest complication.
Biggest thing for me, in addition to that, I would say at Kokomo, just trying to please everyone, trying to come up with this experience or this menu, this recipe that everyone liked. So I'm very prideful with food and experience, and it was killing me. I would come home every day and complain to Ria, complain to Miss Carol, this is not good enough. That's not good enough. We need to do this. What are they doing in the kitchen? This is not the recipe. They're changing things. Because if I could make every single person in the world happy, that I would be that person to try to do it. I'm one of those guys that'll try to make every single body and every person in the room happy. So that was the hardest thing for me, understanding that you can't please everybody. So, once I was able to accept that, I was able to kind of be free.
Anyone else? Right over here. Right here. There you go.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
What would you say to the women of today who exude such masculinity because of all the hats that they wear, to be able to put that down, to embrace a man, to love them, and to be able to be there for them just the way you and Kev have been?
So I will actually let you guys know a little bit more about myself and how me and him came to be. So prior to him, I was in the worst relationship. And I know my mom's probably cringing as we speak because she was there for it all. It was extremely abusive in every single way. The police being involved was something that was completely normal. And I knew something felt wrong. My innate nature was just Ria, this is not for you. Why do you keep attracting these particular kind of men? So my group of friends, loved them to death. We were all in this state of partying, figuring out our careers, just being that girl boss type of energy. And I knew that I had to step back from all of that and figure out myself through my spirituality and take a year. And it wasn't an intentional year. God and I had a come to Jesus moment. And I knew that I could not keep attracting the same type of energy that I was. And I had to figure out what was in it within me that was causing all of these things around me to happen. So as I started to peel back those layers through being in solitude, I then saw myself just brightening up. And when I reached that point, I believe that's when God sent him in my life. And it just so happened to be a year to date. And it was very odd. And I was a type of girlfriend that if you say a word to me, I would break your TV. I was a very angry girlfriend. But when I met him, I found myself just saying, okay. I'm who is this person? But it took me taking that time to be in solitude and figuring out what was really important to me, because nothing is impossible. And I honestly believe the reason we feel that we have to be that way is because society told us we have to be that way. Through the TV, through the music, it's literally being perpetuated everywhere that we are. that black women are strong. We don't need men. But yet, the other cultures, oh, they're getting married by 14. No, let me stop. They're getting married.
We got time for one more question out there. Right here.
Oh, the mic.
Yes.
I'll give you this mic. Oh, there you go.
So you guys briefly talked about Christianity and your relationship and business. You know, when times are hard and your self-efficacy has dwindled down a little bit, how much and in what ways does Christianity help you in your decision-making process and your self-belief and belief in God? Because sometimes you can feel like, damn, did you forget about me? So how and in what ways, and do you have any examples in which obstacles came your way and you were like, God, I trust you, but I'm hurting right now? And what does that look like?
I'll let you go first.
For me, I'm always looking for the best in every situation. So I think naturally for me, I always know that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And I know that at my lowest point, and at our lowest points, that God is always working on something, because that's how he shows you his power. He brings you through these moments, and it's not about solving the problems, which I actually touched on church last week. It's not about God taking away your problems. It's about God holding your hand through your problems to show his power in your life. And it's I always keep that energy with everything, that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what we're going through as a family, that God is always at the other end of the tunnel. And this is something that he's just doing to us, bringing us through to make us stronger. This is part of the journey. Things happen so doors close so other doors can open. So I strongly believe in that, and I never let it affect our relationship, our family, how I raise our kids, you know, how I wake up the next morning and go to work. I always keep the same positive energy about it, because I know God got us at the end of the day.
So my answer to that is that I had to relearn how to pray. And at least for me, I figured out that I was praying wrong. And I went on this journey of asking God, like, teach me how to pray. Like, what is going wrong? I'm asking for all of these things, and I'm feeling unheard, like you said. And then God told me to stop begging. Mm-hmm. When you ask God for something, you ask him once, and you thank him after. That is done. So instead of me getting up saying, please, God, please, 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 is God, I'm asking and trusting you to do this. And then tomorrow, God, thank you. I know whatever you're doing, it's for my greater good. I know that I stumped my toe because you're trying to make me go get my nails done. Like, it's like I know it's for my greater purpose, and I know that you are working and you're stringing the good and bad that's happening in order for that thing to happen. So I no longer beg God for anything.
Now, I said that was the last question, but I feel like you over there. I feel like you got one right there. I saw your hand up. Yeah, you still want to ask it? All right, we're going to get her the mic real quick. This is going to be the real last question, y'all.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask my question. Hello, Ria and Kev. What rituals do you go by on a daily basis? Like, do you start in your household as I get up this morning, let's pray? Or have a moment to thank God just for all that he's giving you? And what are the things that you can't live without that help you in your business and in your home? Like, do you rely on digital technology to say, hey, this is what we're doing every day? Is there a certain time that we turn off digital? Or, you know, do you sit down and discuss with each other, like, I need you to, well, not I need you, but Kev, you take a part in caring for the morning half of the day, and I'll do the later half. Like, how do you, I know you are a tight partnership, but how do you get through the day, both digital and relying on each other?
So, I mean, to answer the first part of your question, we do start our day off by having like prayer time, family prayer time, instilling the things that we want our children to learn. And then that second part, we tried so many different apps to help sync us together. and absolutely none of them have worked. And we literally have to sit down and map out the whole entire day. And even when we do that, there's miscommunication. Like, we can't control everything. And I mean, that's also part of the business that we're in. All we can do is literally just try our best. But even when you have the apps, you sit down, you communicate, you just have to let the day flow. And it's gonna tell you what needs to be done.
Yeah, I think being patient as well when these things are happening, because there's so many obstacles and so many things that are beyond your control that happen in our industry. So plans change constantly. Things change. Things have to be pivoted. You have to pivot. You have to move things around. But then sometimes I have something important I had to do with Ria. Then I have to say I got to cancel, and she has something she has to do with me, and she has to cancel, and I have to understand. And we have to just be patient with each other and just see how we can navigate together, not separately, together, to make sure that we're always on the same page. So, and like she said, we pray every morning, and we have family time, which is important. Well, the kids even go to school late because of prayer, but that's something that I used to be like, they got to go to school. Ria, same thing, they got to go to school, but I kind of accepted, like, what are we doing without God? Like, so if they're going to be late because of prayer, they're late, but we need that in the morning, so.
Are you looking to get into this business? No. Well, our business is very unpredictable, so it's hard to kind of like schedule everything.
Blue, can we have one more just from Joker right there?
How's everybody doing?
What's
This
up?
ain't a serious question, but this is for Kev. I know we grew up with that Bronx-Brooklyn feud going on. Do you miss the Bronx or the Bronx miss you, my brother?
That's a good question, man. I definitely should have touched on that before. I grew up in the Bronx, and I definitely miss the Bronx. I definitely miss my friends. I've probably seen Joker last summer. It's a very good friend of mine. I used to see Joker every week, just walking down the street. We had a very tight-knit group of friends in the Bronx. Actually, the whole community, everyone knew each other in the Bronx, where we were from, White Plains Road, Boston Road, all the Caribbeans and stuff like that. And I missed that part of my life. And I lost a lot of friends, when I got married. And I lost a lot of friends when we got into this business because I just didn't have the time. Not saying that they don't like me anymore as a person, just, separation and distance has separated us. And, I miss those people that, have helped me to get to where I am and have, that I have close moments with and things like that. But I definitely miss the Bronx. I definitely miss a lot of my friends, and being able to party and do the things that we used to do in our childhood. And I think there's still space for those things, though. But right now in my life, I'm in a place where it's about achieving our goals. We have a bigger mission, and it's a mission that God has given us. And it's a mission that we've promised each other that we're going to succeed at. And right now, that comes first. And there's a lot of friends like my brother Joker that he'll support me in anything I'm doing, that continue to just, Kev, I'm here with you. You know what I'm saying? Like looking up right here and seeing him here today, it kind of just gave me that energy I needed to get through this. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that there's still kids that I know from 5th grade, friendships I've had since the 5th grade, for 20-year relationships. And, these people are still in my corner cheering me on. And I'm very thankful for those, moments. So to answer your question, yes. I don't know if you asked me if I miss you, so I miss you too. But yeah, I do miss the Bronx, definitely.
Let's give a hand to Kev and Ria, y'all.
Thank you all for coming on this beautiful day.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you for all of your insights. I think, for everyone, you got to hear firsthand from them a little bit, kind of behind the scenes of what their life is like. But the Kokomo experience wouldn't be complete without some type of food here, right? So I want everyone to look at your wrist, and if you have a wristband, a special little wristband, you're gonna be able to go upstairs. They're actually gonna do some live food experience. But if you're down here, you do not have a wristband, please don't leave, because we still will have food passed around down here as well. So this is the rest of the Kokomo experience.
And you guys will also be able to see everything on the screen, right? All right, so you guys can sit right here and still enjoy the moment, enjoy the experience. Thank you guys.